Welcome to Great Automotive Lives in Brief. Let me immediately clarify, these bite-sized bonus episodes in no way reflect lives less worthy of reflection or retrospection than those featured in the full episodes. It's solely down to either the restricted availability of research material or perhaps reflective of a briefer period of automotive exposure or activity. Selfishly too, it gives me the chance to indulge in the genius of some of my lesser known or less celebrated automotive heroes. I hope you enjoy this inaugural potted exploration of the life of the great Malcom Sayer. Sayer uniquely blended science and art to produce timeless shapes of exceptional and enduring beauty. He brought science to the art of car design and scientifically produced works of art. Not my words, but those from the plaque next to the Jaguar E-Type, which is on permanent display at the New York Museum of Modern Art. Sayer was a bold pioneer in the bringing together of art and science into automotive design. Sayer gave short shrift to the attribution of titles such as stylist or designer. He would steadfastly describe himself as an aerodynamicist. Sayer sadly succumbed to a heart attack in 1970 at the tender age of just 53 years. To me, it's one of the undeserved travesties of British automotive history that Sayer remains so relatively unknown and comparatively uncelebrated. His automotive creations, however, still stand testament to one of the greatest of great automotive lives. Sayer was born in the delightful seaside town of Cromer. Despite absolutely no financial incentives being conveyed by the Norfolk tourist authorities, I can't recommend Cromer highly enough to you, dear listener. I treasure many happy memories of time spent in Cromer when my sons were little, and a plaque commemorating Sayer's childhood home can even be sought out in St Mary's Road. Sayer was a talented child and son of a schoolteacher, Gilbert, who unusually but presciently taught both maths and art. Sayer won entry to the Great Yarmouth Grammar School, where Gilbert taught, by age 9, a full 2 years ahead of his peers. By age 17, he secured a British Empire scholarship to attend Loughborough College to study aeronautical and automotive engineering. He graduated from Loughborough in 1938 with a first-class honours diploma in automotive engineering and immediately joined the Bristol Aircraft Company at Filton. During the Second World War, and by way of his reserved occupation, Sayer continued crucial work refining and improving aircraft design and utility, with his attentions extending to both the Blenheim, the first British aircraft with an all-metal stressed skin construction, and the Beaufort torpedo bomber. During the Big Freeze of February 1947, Sayer married Patricia Morgan at Bristol Registry Office. History neglects to record if these record low temperatures made Malcom and Pat yearn for more clement conditions, but soon after, the Sayers travelled to Iraq, where Malcom had secured a position with the University of Baghdad. In a minor snag, however, it transpired that the university only existed on paper rather than in campus buildings, faculties, or eager students. Sayer kept busy, however, helping to maintain the fleet of government vehicles, but he also met a peripatetic German professor who shared with him a technique for designing complex and compound shapes mathematically. Essentially an early form of computer-aided design, but without the aid of any computers. Slide rules and 7-figure log tables were very much order of the day, however. Sayer and Pat, now together with their first child Kate, were back in the UK by 1950, and Sayer joined Jaguar in 1951. His role was to help Jaguar challenge the long-time racing supremacy of Mercedes-Benz and Ferrari but with a fledgling British operation which had only recently emerged from the Second World War with its new Jaguar car's name. The roll call of cars that Sayer brought his special blend of skills to bear on today represent an apogee of British sports car dominance that has scarcely been matched since. That, of course, is no coincidence. The first of his projects was the mighty C-Type. This car's on-track performance was an early and decisive validation of Sayer's groundbreaking approach, one that left most of his colleagues scratching their heads in befuddlement. Jaguar's veteran test driver and Sayer's great friend Norman Jewis, possibly another candidate for an in-brief episode, let me make a note, would later declare he would have a foolscap sheet the full length of his wall. All across that sheet were coloured curves and lines. Every 6 inches were vertical lines with figures. I used to say to him, I can't even see a car. The C-Type would win Le Mans at its first outing in 1951, before going on to win 3 further times. The 1953 win in the hands of Duncan Hamilton and Tony Rolt would be the first Le Mans victory at an average speed of over 100 miles per hour. Sayer's special kind of magic enabled the Jaguar to utilise a modestly sized straight-six engine and yet deliver the performance of much more exotically equipped competitors. In some ways, the Sayer-designed D-Type of 1954 was more successful still. The D-Type won Le Mans in 3 successive years, and in 1957 D-Types took 5 of the top 6 places at the iconic 24-hour endurance race. On the fearsome Mulsanne Straight, the winning D-Types were pulling speeds just a gentle stroll short of 200 miles an hour in the 1950s. Despite the dramatic success of these rarefied racing Jaguars, it would be the relatively mass-produced, predominantly road-focused E-Type that Sayer would retrospectively become most associated with. First appearing in 1961, over 70,000 E-Types would be produced over 3 series and 13 years of production. This, of course, was the car that allegedly prompted the notoriously taciturn Enzo Ferrari to declare the E-Type as the most beautiful car ever built. Characteristically, Sayer would maintain that he prioritised a functional, aerodynamically sound design over any thoughts or inclinations towards aesthetic appeal. Luckily for us, the Venn diagram that demonstrates the interaction between abject beauty and aerodynamic efficiency features a sizable intersection. And that's exactly where Sayer plonked the E-Type. In 1965 he would craft the XJ13 racing car. This beast was tilted at a Jaguar return to Le Mans and would feature a 5-litre version of a long-standing Jaguar V12 design dating back to the early 50s. The XJ13 project was shelved when the race's entry criteria changed and rendered the car a one-off white elephant design and one that would sadly never race. After Sayer's premature demise, the one and only XJ13 would be heavily damaged during a routine test outing. Luckily, the car was fastidiously rebuilt and is now on display at the British Motor Museum at Gaydon, another regular haunt that I can heartily and fulsomely recommend to you. In his later role as Jaguar's Director of Design, with Sayer still emphasising he wasn't a designer any more than he was a hairdresser, he would work on the early development of the XJS. With his tragic and unexpected death on the high street of his adopted hometown of Leamington Spa intervening, Sayer would never witness the completion of the XJS. Today you can find a blue plaque in situ on the facade of an elegant Georgian townhouse at 26 Portland Place West, Leamington Spa. This commemorates the great Sayer as simply the designer of the Jaguar E-Type. at the sight of his last home. But what of Sayer the man? By all accounts he was a physically towering presence, initially a little shy or reticent, but upon further acquaintance, engaging and highly enjoyable company. He was a fiercely proud family man who would ultimately welcome 3 children to the world. Like many deeply talented people, Sayer was a polymath, being an accomplished multi-instrument musician, highly skilled cartoonist, and enthusiastic and talented mimic. At work he was a consummate professional, but exacting and single-minded in his pursuit of aerodynamic excellence. Former Jaguar colleague Mike Kimberley oft recalls that during the design of the E-Type, somebody decided the bonnet would look nice with a Jaguar badge on it. He carefully indented it, all 1.5mm deep so it was flush. And when Malcom saw it, he literally took off. He insisted it was removed. Malcom Sayer was undeniably from a time before star designers had emerged from the confines of the back room, blinking into the bright lights of fame, fortune and universal recognition. That latter-day adulation may not have sat that well with him anyway. All that said, I can't help but feel that we have significantly undercooked our collective appreciation and recognition of this great British success story. Hopefully this great automotive life in brief goes just a tiny part of the way to putting that even slightly right. I hope you've enjoyed this pint-sized version of the podcast. If you have, I'd really appreciate a like, share or comment, and I've provided a contact email in the accompanying show notes should you wish to share your thoughts directly with me. More of these mini-pods, as well as the fully fledged versions, will be along in due course. Do make sure you follow me on your platform of choice to get notifications of any new instalments. I hope to enjoy your listening company again soon. Happy motoring.